Good afternoon, everyone. The time is now 12:02, and you're watching This Is Now. I'm your director-producer, Jonathan, alongside Ashley, who just got off the Department of Health's website with some new numbers regarding the coronavirus.
Health officials are reporting 4 new COVID-19 cases today, bringing the statewide total to 647. DOH says 3 patients are on the Big Island, and 1 case is a Lanai resident who was infected on Maui, and that person will remain on Maui for the time being. That means Hawaii's death toll stands at 17, and so far more than 90% of patients have been released from isolation.
And I want to take you live. That's a live shot video feed coming in to our digital center of the state capitol. That's because in just about 25 minutes, the governor is going to hold a briefing there, giving an update on the state's response to the coronavirus. I know Lieutenant Governor Josh Green is going to be there, along with Director of Health Bruce Anderson and a representative from the Department of Health. So we're going to just wait and see, coming up in 25 minutes right here on your digital platforms. All right, switching gears here a little bit, there is a new development in the state's effort to restart tourism. Visitors could avoid quarantine by testing negative for the virus. That's an idea some lawmakers have. Chelsea Davis has more on that.
State leaders are still in the talking phase, but there's a broad consensus that pre-flight testing is the only way to revive Hawaii tourism while keeping the virus out.
We just got to start testing.
State Representative Gene Ward says he got word from the White House that the state can require travelers to show a negative coronavirus test before they board a flight in order to avoid quarantine once here.
And it's given a green light to the 5th floor here at the Capitol. Hey, Gov, now you can move on this if you want to.
It'll be a new norm, like showing your ID and boarding pass. Tests would be done before passengers depart at no cost to the state.
Go to CVS, go to Walgreens, get your test, give it to the airline. You're in great shape.
Travelers tell us they take the test.
I definitely see the statistics and the science point of a second surge. So yeah, I think being able to have the testing and test people right at the airport would definitely help. Just, again, kind of make it quicker so we know if we're sick instead of the 14 days.
In addition, state transportation officials have volunteered Honolulu's airport as one of 12 test sites for the TSA to do temperature checks before flights.
If we can be one of the test sites and they go ahead and include these cameras in all their TSA checkpoints, then I don't have to use the COVID money. If we can get TSA to do the program basically on the outbound, then I can just concentrate on the inbound. Basically save some money there.
It's unclear how much money could be saved. Right now, the state is planning to spend $36 million in CARES Act funding for thermal screening cameras. We did reach out to the governor's office for comment about this, but could not get a response from him. Chelsea Davis, Hawaii News Now.
With a third of Hawaii's workforce unemployed, the financial pain from the pandemic is beginning to show up on credit reports. A new analysis from TransUnion says a growing number of Hawaii families are unable to make mortgage, credit card, or car loan payments. The report analyzed the state-by-state percentage of credit accounts in hardship, which means the account balances aren't getting paid because of a declared disaster. The report says the percentage of mortgage accounts in Hawaii in hardship was at 6.3% in April. That's up more than 1,700% from a year ago. Credit card accounts in hardship are up 38,000%, and car loan payments in hardship are up 500%. TransUnion says tax refunds and the federal stimulus checks may have helped families stay in the black in April, but for many, that money has long run out. The court system is being criticized for suspending drug testing requirements for Hope probationers on Oahu. It's an effort to stop the spread of the virus, but as Rick Desag reports, critics are shocked.
Right now, there are 2,000 people in the state's Hope probation program, which gives even violent criminals and drug offenders a chance to live in their community, so long as they stay out of trouble and have regular drug tests. The Chief Justice has expressed pride in the program.
We have Hope probation, which uses a lower level of supervision while still holding defendants accountable for becoming clean and sober.
But 2 months ago, in order to protect court staff from infections, the judiciary suspended drug testing for Hope defendants unless they're already in a drug treatment program. Critics say that's a recipe for disaster.
The whole purpose of testing was to prevent the offender from relapsing. Okay, the goal is to stop the drug abuser from using drugs and hopefully rehabilitate the person.
People in Hope Probation are randomly drug tested, but typically they're tested about once a week so that they're not taking drugs or committing new crimes. Even though they're not tested, the judiciary says Hope probationers are still being actively supervised by their probation officers, and they can and have been taking actions if defendants are non-compliant.
I mean, what does that mean if you're not seeing them face to face? You're not drug testing them. Hello, did you take drugs today? No. I mean, there's no substitute for testing.
Meanwhile, Hope probationers who were in custody for violating the rules were among the first released from jail because of the COVID pandemic. Rick Daysog, Hawaii News Now.
The state's largest Independence Day celebration is a no-go. Ala Moana Center canceled the 4th of July event at Ala Moana Park because of the pandemic. Organizers called it a difficult decision.
The school year is coming to an end, and parents and students are wondering what next school year will look like. Superintendent Christina Kishimoto talked about this morning on Sunrise.
Well, let's start with this. Fall semester is right around the corner. We're talking about August. What options are we looking at this point, and when do you make a decision on how this is going to be handled?
So it feels like time is shrinking up on all of us as we're trying to handle the end of the school year, commencement, summer school, and the start of the next school year. Our goal is to start the next school year on August 4th as planned. We're working through the details of what that means. The Act with Care proclamation from the governor with his 8th proclamation provides us the opportunity to start planning for summer school, both through distance learning and in person. So that's where we are right now. We're really excited because our summer school offerings are much more diversified and actually are going to allow us to provide about 15,000 slots overall across the state, which is about double the amount than we normally have during the summer.
Yeah, Dr. Kishimoto, I'd really like to get into specifics as to how fall is going to be handled. We hear from frustrated parents and concerned teachers all the time about what's going to happen safety-wise, engaging their students. In fact, some of them said that at this point, they're kind of just wasting their time waiting so that they can prepare for next year. They want direction. Are we looking at scattered days? Are we looking at complete distant learning? What are we looking at?
Yeah, it's not really about waste of time. It's the fact that we can even see with the governor's proclamations, they happen in several week chunks at a time because Department of Health is relying on CDC at the federal level. Our mayors and governor here locally are relying on updated health information. And so the DOE is down the line from that. We have to wait on those officials to make decisions. And so we're working with them. We're making decisions now. We've rolled out our summer school. And during summer, again, being responsive to parents, trying to provide opportunities for our most difficult students to reach, our students who are struggling, our special ed students who need their services through ESY, providing them both in school and through distance learning opportunities. From there, we will have more guidance during the summer about what it means to start up again. If you look at your CDC guidance for school reopening in the fall, that was just issued.
Right.
So we are looking at that now, and we have to wait for Department of Health.
Right. And Doctor, maybe it was a bad choice of words. We're not talking about this, the teachers sitting there and not doing anything. But I think what they want is they want to plan so that they can at least see what the options are and then brainstorm as to how to make their classrooms work, how to make things safer, and how to make sure that they're reaching their kids. I mean, are we looking at staggered days?
Absolutely.
Are we looking at shorter school days? What are our options?
So our goal right now, we're planning from the assumption that we want to hold to 180 instructional days. That's about honoring what our students need to be ready for every subsequent school year. Our teachers and our principals and our staff members are at the table with us. They're planning for what would it look like if we had a staggered days, at least for startup, so that we can renorm with health and safety measures. What does it mean to have a mixed approach where some students might be online and some students might be in person? There's a lot of details to this because not all families know also themselves whether they're going to be back to work, whether they need in-school time, or whether they really need support with distance learning. So we're trying to maximize the number of modalities and approaches we're using to be responsive to community. And our teachers are right now, they're training up, they're designing, they're doing curriculum development, both for online, asynchronous, synchronous learning, and in person with those health measures. Remember, if we have to still distance by 6 feet, that also means we have to restructure what our schools look like, make determination of whether masks are used in the hallway. All of those things are outlined right now, but we have to go through all the procedures of getting verification on those approaches and getting approval. Department of Health has been amazing to work with, but they are also working with federal guidance.
Okay, and there are two separate ways to go here. Obviously, we're worried first and foremost about safety, but we're also worried about making sure the students actually have the opportunity to learn. And so I just hope you understand where this is coming from, because we're out in the community. We hear from a lot of parents. Some parents have just given up on this school year. So online learning or distance learning is going to be some part of this plan. How do you, what fail-safes, what oversight is in place to make sure that these students are reached and that they aren't giving up, especially going into a brand new school year?
Yeah, so like I said, our summer school is doubling up the number of outreach and slots for our families, especially our families who are struggling. So right now, again, we're providing an opportunity also for teachers to be employed over the summer. And so that also helps our teachers. Our teachers are ready to do this kind of design work and have been. That'll give us some more information on our most struggling learners, but we're also providing some advanced learning opportunities for kids who just want to move ahead through eSchool. In the fall, again, we will work on the design that we need to put in place. We're going to maximize for distance learning, but as we all know, our youngest kids, they don't learn best through distance learning. That's too unfamiliar, informal for them. They need to have some in-person opportunities. We'll also be taking attendance on a daily basis when school starts up again, and making sure that we keep track of every student across the state.
Got some developing news coming into the H&N Digital Center from the White House. President Trump says his latest COVID-19 test is negative. He's in Michigan today touring a Ford plant that makes ventilators. Natalie Brand has more.
Ben Carson and Scott Turner.
The president met with African-American leaders in the key battleground state of Michigan before touring a Ford automobile facility that now builds ventilators.
My administration is working relentlessly to rush supplies and resources to these communities and to protect the health, safety, and economic opportunity of all African Americans and all Americans.
The visit comes after the president threatened to hold up federal funding amid the pandemic over Michigan's effort to send absentee ballot applications to voters.
We don't want them to do mail-in ballots. We don't want anyone to do mail-in ballots.
Threatening to take money away from a state that is hurting as bad as we are right now is just scary.
The president says FEMA and the Army Corps of Engineers are now assisting the state struck hard this week by massive flooding. On the economic front, the president says his team had a meeting with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell about another coronavirus relief bill.
We're working on a package of very positive things.
The Democratic-controlled House passed its $3 trillion measure on Friday, but Republicans have called that bill a non-starter.
You may not know it yet, but they will come to the table. Our bill is focused, disciplined, and what is necessary to defeat this virus.
Senate Republicans say they're working to pass an extension to the Paycheck Protection Program for small businesses. They hope to do it by unanimous consent as early as today. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
Breaking news coming into the H&N Digital Center. Officials in Texas believe a shooting at an air naval station could be terrorism related. The shooter wounded a sailor at Naval Air Station Corpus Christi before the suspect was shot and killed by a security personnel. The FBI confirmed the shooter's death and revealed a second person's involvement. One sailor assigned to the security team was injured but is in good condition. The FBI said it will lead this investigation. You'll recall back in December, a sailor killed two and wounded a third at Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard before killing himself. The sailor was having disciplinary problems at the time.
A suspect is in custody after a shooting in Glendale, Arizona at a shopping and entertainment area that left 3 people hurt. Police say the gunman posted a video of the attack on social media. Nancy Chen reports.
Police rushed to the Westgate Entertainment District in Glendale, Arizona Wednesday night and arrived about 5 minutes after gunshots rang out. They identified the suspect as 20-year-old Armando Hernandez Jr. and say he admitted to detectives he was the gunman and that he intended to hurt 10 people.
He said that he went to Westgate to target victims. He wanted to gain some respect, and he felt that he had been bullied in his life.
These are screenshots from a video police say Hernandez posted to Snapchat. He said he wanted to be the shooter of Westgate 2020 to get back at society. Police say an assault rifle was found at the scene. Video shows Hernandez moving through the parking lot and surrendering to police.
We were able to take that suspect into custody successfully and safely.
The area had just recently reopened as Arizona eased coronavirus restrictions.
Evil acts like this have a very, very fearful and paralyzing effect. Now, if we let them, and I'm asking all of you, please don't give in to fear. Don't allow senseless acts like this to change your habits.
Police say Hernandez told detectives he arrived and scoped out the area, then returned to his car to get his weapon. They say he admitted to loading 3 magazines to capacity. He made his initial appearance in court Thursday on felony charges, including 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Nancy Chen, CBS News.
Authorities are warning it could take days to fully assess the damage from severe flooding in central Michigan. Floodwaters from heavy rains that overtook 2 dams submerged homes and washed out roads. The waters are retreating in some communities, but continue to threaten others farther downriver. The flooding forced the evacuation of about 11,000 people in the Midland area. Officials caution it could take days for the water to recede.
With the hurricane season right around the corner, don't forget you can download the H&N Weather app, which has a hurricane tracker on it. That forecast for the hurricane season was released yesterday. Bob Ballard with the National Weather Service talked to us about it on Sunrise.
I'm glad to hear that we are looking at a possible below season average of storms, 4 to 6. I was curious though, how you come up with this.
Yeah, so the outlook, I just want to make a quick clarification there. The outlook, we're calling for 2 to 6 in the Central Pacific Basin this year. And in order to come up with that outlook, we will coordinate with the experts at the Climate Prediction Center near Washington, D.C., and we compare our notes among things that we're seeing, things that they're seeing, and we talk about what we think the primary factors are going to be in this year's hurricane season in the basin.
All right. Sorry about that, Bob. That's why we had
no
you
worries.
on to make sure you get the numbers right. You know,
It's all good.
I find this so interesting, and I was curious about the why. Why does it look like it's going to be below average?
Yeah, so what we see this year is that the warmer than normal conditions, hurricanes like warm ocean water, and we see those warmer than normal conditions actually decreasing. So the sea surface temperatures over the equatorial Pacific over the last few weeks and months have been cooling off. And so now we are in a period where we think that we are going to go into what we call ENSO neutral, which means not El Nino and not La Nina, sort of in between, typical average conditions in the Central Pacific, which kind of lends us to believe that we're most likely to see an average to slightly below normal season for the Central Pacific Basin.
All right, that's Bob Ballard there with the National Weather Service. You can see that whole interview and a bunch more information about the upcoming hurricane season on our H&N digital platforms. Just click on the weather tab. Let's get to some other news. We're talking Netflix.
That's right. Heads up from Netflix. The streaming service says it will start asking inactive users if they want to keep their membership. If members don't want it or if they don't respond, the company will automatically cancel their service. Now, Netflix says it's an effort to prevent people from paying for something they're not using. Inactive accounts represent less than 0.5% of their member base. Emails will be sent out this week.
Finding anything good on Netflix these days?
I've watched a couple movies, which were really good. The Wrong Missy.
Oh yeah, loved it. I laughed out loud.
Hilarious.
Yep.
Taped in Hawaii, Adam Sandler's group. So funny. It's just silly.
It's goofy, but it kept me going for sure.
It was very entertaining. And then The Platform.
I hadn't heard about that.
It's a dark kind of independent film. It's about kind of like a jail and there's a platform that goes from the top to the bottom. At the top, there's this big feast, and as it goes down the level, people eat, and it gets lower and lower and lower to the bottom. So it kind of, it's like a society, basically. You know,
Yeah,
if
sort of like
everyone
a
just
Hunger
took
Games
what they
thing?
needed
Yeah.
at the top, everyone would be fed.
Well, I like The Wrong Missy. I started watching that documentary, Trial by Media. I'm only on episode 1,
Okay.
and I think there's multiple episodes, but it explores the sort of pop culture, talk show culture of the 90s. It really focuses on the Jenny Jones show
Okay,
and
wow.
murder surrounding that.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting. It sort of brought back some like teen childhood memories for me. So lots out there on Netflix. I mean, there's so many options. Something else is changing in the world of entertainment as well, with movie theaters shuttered because of the pandemic. Drive-thru theaters are
I love
seeing a
it.
comeback. I know, but unfortunately, they're long gone around most parts around here. But one group has decided to do something about it, and Ben Gutierrez has a story to explain why.
In the age of social distancing, movie theaters, the enclosed kind that we're all used to, have been closed because of the pandemic. But a safer way to do it? Drive-in movie theaters once again.
Because here at Globo Gym, we're better than you. And we know it.
They're not completely back, but tonight in Kailua, there was an event in which people were able to drive up and watch a movie just like the old days. Organizers put it on as a fundraiser for the Poly Lanes, and for some, it brought back a bit of nostalgia, or at least got them out of the house.
So my dad used to bring my brother and I to Cam Drive-In, and I miss it and I wish they would bring it back.
I'm just excited to get out the house and be able to do something. It looks like it's going to be fun, and Dodgeball is one of my favorite movies.
As long as there's social distancing, 6 feet, from each other, and it just so happens that when you're in your vehicle and you're closed, you're kind of like a contained unit. And so that gave us the opportunity to do this.
They've decided to start small with just 16 cars, but they are looking to see if they can do something on a larger scale if this works. There is another event that's scheduled by this group at Aikahi sometime about a week from now, and that one, they say, will be larger. In Kailua, Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
Very cool. What a Nice Max
In the
Holloway
age of
is
social-
raising money for the Maui and Hawaii food banks. Each donation over $10 gets you a raffle entry for a chance to not only dine with the former UFC featherweight champ, but a fighting lesson for you and 4 friends. After the match, the gloves come off and he'll sign them for you as a thank you for your donation. For a chance to win, just head over to our website, hawaiinewsnow.com.
I don't know, you're going to have to tell me what you think about this. All right, I'm going to
What
show you the
is it?
picture. Spam, right?
Yeah.
But this is different. This, in the trend of plant-based meat.
No.
This is vegan
No.
spam. Yeah,
Why?
it's a real thing. Yeah, vegans gotta have spam too. The plant-based lunch meat was created by a Hong Kong company, and it's only available there right now, but they might expand. You could use it with anything. Your normal spam fried rice. I haven't heard how it tastes yet. I don't know. I'm not vegan, so I'll stick with the original, but I'm glad there's an option out there for others.
I guess so.
I would
but
try
I feel
it.
like if you're gonna do spam, you might as well
Yeah.
go big and do real spam.
I still imagine it's loaded with sodium because that's what makes it taste so good.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the salt, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know. We'll try it out. We'll get a pack someday. Do a taste testing show. All right, guys, that's going to do it for This Is Now today on this Thursday. Coming up in 4 minutes, we're expecting a press conference from the governor, so we're going to get offline here and start up a new live stream on Facebook for you. See you later, guys.